Once the Clone Wars came to a swift end with the destruction of the Separatist Council and the decimation of the Jedi Order through Order 66, all battle droid production factories were ordered to stop production immediately, leaving them dormant for many years. During the time of the Empire, however, one rebel fighter was able to scavenge enough spare parts from an old Separatist droid factory, allowing him to create one of the most murderous, destructive and violent B-1 battle droids to ever grace the galaxy. So I'm going to break down the story of the most destructive and rageful B-1 battle droid ever created, including his heroic final stand. So before we get into it, make sure to cut that subscribe button in half like Obi-Wan did to Maul for more awesome Star Wars lore content. During the harsh rule of the Empire over the galaxy, a young rebel pilot named Temmin Wexley discovered a factory deep below the dark and misty catacombs of the planet Akiva. Temmin Wexley eventually ventures deep into the mysterious cavern below the planet's surface when he makes a shocking discovery. The creepy catacombs were actually home to a former Separatist battle droid factory from all the way back in the Clone Wars. While exploring the dusty old factory below, Temmin decided to scavenge for as many spare B-1 battle droid parts as he could that were still in working condition so that he could create his very own B-1 battle droid friend. After lots of painstaking and precise work, and not having the industrial equipment used by the Separatists available to him, he was able to create a customized B-1 battle droid who he named Mr. Bones. Although he constructed Mr. Bones using old Separatist diagrams, he wasn't fully able to create the droid exactly how they were intended. While he maintained the core structure of the B-1 battle droid, Wexley painted Mr. Bones black and red, with bones from dead birds and fish attached to his mechanical limbs. Wexley also attached a vibroblade to one of Mr. Bones' limbs, and also replaced half of his head with a telescoping red eye, before sharpening Mr. Bones' nose down to a very sharp point intended to resemble a large bird of prey. Because Temmin Wexley had no friends and was bullied by those around him, Mr. Bones became a very close friend to the boy. Wexley sadly had nobody left around him, as his father was stolen away from him by the Empire, and his mother had left him to join the Rebel Alliance. This loneliness even further deepened the connection between Temmin and his new droid friend. As Temmin mostly lived and worked alone, he was very closely connected to the shady criminal underworld of the galaxy, often encountering dodgy criminal figures, including bounty hunters and assassins. Because of this, Mr. Bones served as Temmin's personal bodyguard. The first time Mr. Bones was put into action against the criminal underworld was when Temmin activated him against three gangsters. Three gangsters arrived at the young boy's shop, causing Mr. Bones to pull out his vibroblades and slam the two gangsters' heads together, knocking them out. After knocking the two out and having the third gangster dealt with, Mr. Bones dragged the cold, nearly lifeless bodies to a nearby river, where he happily hummed out loud with pure joy and happiness. The bounty hunters unfortunately did wake up, however, and captured the two, bringing them back to their lair. Soon after though, Temmin was rescued by another bounty hunter, Jazamari, and was able to reactivate Mr. Bones. As they escaped, Mr. Bones horrifically stabbed three stormtroopers and their Imperial officer with his vibroblade, enjoying seeing their lifeless bodies bleed. Before he could get away from the battle, however, Mr. Bones was horribly damaged and lost the vibroblade arm that he had just used to slaughter the Imperials. Because of the low amount of resources that Temmin had, Mr. Bones had his arm replaced with an astromech's leg. Let me know down below which astromech you think this could be. This could really be any, but it could be one we know, so who knows. Bones complained for days about having a fake arm, but Temmin assured him that he would fix it up shortly. After the Battle of Endor, Mr. Bones was again forced into action as he followed his master into a rescue mission for the New Republic star pilot Wedge Antilles, who had been captured by Imperial Remnant Admiral Ray Sloan. Temmin then joined his mother Nora on the planet Akiva as they planned to storm an Imperial communications station. As they snuck themselves into the secure Imperial facility, Mr. Bones stormed into the building and used both his vibroblade and astromech leg arms to slaughter stormtroopers. Bones then used his holo recorder to fake the execution of his master Temmin, which was broadcasted to the people of Akiva, inciting a rebellion. As the group attempted to escape the building, Mr. Bones cannonballed himself into the windscreen of a TIE fighter, hoping to use it for the escape. Bones and Temmin then traveled to a nearby cantina to recover, while his mother continued on. Eventually, Nora Wexley returned to the cantina, with Mr. Bones being incredibly relieved that she had survived, saying he was incredibly glad that she wasn't turned to scattered atoms. Not long after this, Temmin, his mother and Mr. Bones were ambushed by Ray Sloan and her horde of stormtroopers, where they were swiftly captured. Temmin ordered Mr. Bones to leap into action and decimate the stormtroopers, but the troopers brutally shot the droid with their red blaster bolts. Sloan herself even emptied 6 blaster bolts into the poor droid's head, brutally disintegrating him and taking his head off. Luckily, the New Republic fleet soon arrived on Akiva, liberating the planet and allowing them to escape. Following the Battle of Akiva, Temmin and his mother rebuilt Mr. Bones from the scrap that was left of him. While waiting to pick up the team for an upcoming kidnapping mission, Bones began to boast about how he could eradicate his enemies and turn them into fine red mist. That is pretty dark for a droid. He also accompanied his master to a starfighter lesson taught by Wedge Antilles, where he sprinted up to the rebel pilot and gave him an uncomfortably long hug before dancing around the landing platform. Soon after this, Mr. Bones accompanied Snap and Nora Wexley to the planet Iridiru, where Han Solo was also located. Mr. Bones then confronted Han Solo at a nearby cantina, believing he was a grave threat to his master, but he was held back and restrained by Temmin and the team so that he could not hurt Han. Following this fiery encounter with Han, the entire group traveled to Kashyyyk to rescue Chewbacca, who had been taken prisoner at the harsh prison known as Ashmead's Lock. As Mr. Bones and the crew arrived at the prison complex, they failed to provide the proper entry codes and were confronted by a group of highly dangerous security droids. Absolute chaos erupted as Han began to fire on the security droids, while Mr. Bones began to use his vibroblade to saw through multiple objects, including a large door. Mr. Bones then fought his way through the dangerous security droids, losing an arm and a leg in the process. Mr. Bones then began to obliterate the remaining security as Han and Nora Wexley freed hundreds of prisoners, including Snap's father and Chewbacca. Eventually, the group was able to escape the planet, and Temmin was able to repair Mr. Bones using spare parts from the Millennium Falcon. The two later headed to a historic building on the planet Chandrilla, where the yearly Liberation Day speech was set to be given, commemorating the victory of the Rebel Alliance. When one of the guards at the entrance of the building waved his shock lance at Temmin, the circuits of Mr. Bones filled with rage as he instinctively knocked the guard to the ground with a swift clank to his head. Because inhibitor chips were placed inside of the prisoners from Kashyyyk, they all began to open fire on Mon Mothma, who was the Chancellor of the Republic at the time, causing a Senate guard to tackle Snap Wexley to the ground with a baton. This made Mr. Bones even more furious as he flung him into a nearby wall with incredible force and activated his two vibroblades. As two more Senate guards rushed to the red B-1 battle droid, he shredded their armor to pieces and swiftly defeated them with immense strength and rage. Following that eventful day, Mr. Bones and Temmin were searching the Outer Rim for his mother when Mr. Bones was forced to jettison himself in an escape pod, plunging down onto the surface of the desert world of Jakku. Once landed, he located Temmin's mother, but they were quickly captured. Eventually, Mr. Bones was nearly destroyed by a former Imperial officer, but he was able to repair himself and reboot his memory, which caused him to experience vivid memories from his horrific battles during the Clone Wars. As revenge for nearly being destroyed by the Imperial, Mr. Bones cut the man's arm cleanly off and ripped the Imperial officer's body to shreds. Mr. Bones let the immense rage and violence flow through him as he tore the Imperial limb from limb, killing him quickly but extremely painfully. Following that, Mr. Bones was present at the Battle of Jakku for the final stand of the Empire, but he unfortunately began to experience horrible glitching due to the damage he sustained from the Imperial officer. As his circuits began to malfunction even more horrifically, he started to remark about blasted meat bags. As things began to fall apart, Mr. Bones witnessed the monumentally large crash landing of the Ravager Super Star Destroyer as it disintegrated into the sandy surface of Jakku. This is the same Super Star Destroyer that you can see crash landed in The Force Awakens. Shortly after, Temmin was attacked viciously by 3 sand troopers and an AT-ST walker, causing Mr. Bones to fly off the handle into a state of rage. Bones chopped the 2 sand troopers to pieces before turning around, where the third was about to shoot him, but Temmin, or Snap as he liked to call him, came to his rescue, clubbing the trooper with his rifle. Mr. Bones then dodged a mighty blast from the ST's cannons before mounting the walker and savagely breaking his way into the cockpit, where he brutally murdered the 2 AT-ST drivers. Moments later, Mr. Bones leapt out of the cockpit once more, but the AT-ST was destroyed by 2 passing New Republic A-Wing fighters, which sent out a massive blast, tragically disintegrating Mr. Bones permanently. Such a sad ending to the story for an amazingly violent droid. So that is the story of Mr. Bones, the most violent and rageful droid ever created. Thanks so much for watching, really hope you enjoyed the video. Cheers guys, hope to see you in the next one.